And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
Because all the blessings that we're going to get, which is entailing the kingdom of heaven. Isaiah the 60th chapter, I'm going to start at the 10th verse and read on down. It says, and the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. So the sons of strangers, that's talking about the actual strangers, the other nations, shall build up thy walls. We're going to have them in slavery. So they're going to be building the kingdom of heaven, because we're not building nothing. We're not lifting a hand to move nothing. It says, for in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day nor night, that men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles. That's talking about the actual Gentiles. We're going to take all of their substance, and that their kings may be brought.
And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee.
For the nation and kingdom that will not serve thee shall perish, yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted. Verse 13. And the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary, and I will make the place of my feet glorious. So the land of Israel, the land of Jerusalem, is going to be made glorious. It's going to be made glorious once again. The kingdom is going to be built up. We had a taste of that during the time of Solomon's reign, which was for about 40 years. Verse 14, the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come bending unto thee, and they that despise thee shall bow themselves down at the sole of thy feet. And they shall call thee the city of the Lord. The word Zion means monument, the monument of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated, so that no man went through thee, I will make thee an eternal excellency, a joy of many generations. Thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shall suck the breast of kings, meaning we're going to take all their substance. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord thy power, the Lord and thy Savior and thy Redeemer, the mighty one of Jacob. For brass I will bring thee gold, and for iron I will bring thee silver, and for wood brass, and for stones iron. And I will make thy officers peace, and thine exactors righteousness. Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise. The sun shall no more thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and the power thy glory. The sun shall no more go down, meaning our kingdom is not going to go down. In other words, once we get back in power, we're going to be in power forever. The sun is never going to go down on our kingdom again. The sun is never going to set on our kingdom. We're going to always shine, and we're going to always be in that glory once we get into the kingdom of heaven. There's no more going back into slavery under the other nations. Esau's not going to rise back up and put us in captivity. Ham, Japheth, Ishmael, none of the other nations are going to rise up and take us down ever again. When we get on top this time, we're going to remain on top. Neither shall thy moon withdraw itself, for the Lord shall be thine everlasting light, and the days of thy mourning shall be ended. So no more mourning, no more crying, no more vexation of spirit, no more weeping, no more hopelessness because of the condition that we're in as Israelites right now. Verse 21, thy people also shall be all righteous, they shall inherit the land forever. The branch of my planting, the work of my hands, that I may be glorified. Verse 22, a little one shall become 1,000. This is in the kingdom. So what is this talking about? We're going to have sex. Again, like I said, The 2/3 that are going to pass in this destruction, the 2/3 are going to come back through the 1/3 that make it. The Lord said, 2/3 shall be cut off and die, and the third will I bring through the fire. It says, a little one shall become 1,000, and a small one a strong nation. I, the Lord, will hasten it in his time.
All right. Shalom. First, I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to us younger brothers, and peace and blessings and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth. And it's also like you and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh Bashim Shah, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shah. All right. And what I want to get into, this morning, news and prophecy, it is entitled, I will sit in the seat of the Most High. Okay. And this is the mindset of Esau Edom. And we're going to get into, what that means when you go into 2 Thessalonians, all right, the second chapter. Okay, is a chapter that's read a lot often because this is what the devil is doing real time. Okay, well, we have to understand dealing with Esau Edom, this is not light. You can't take this light what the devil is doing. Okay, this is the ultimate rebellion against the Most High. Okay, he's taken farther than any other nation, any other heathen nation has taken it. Because no heathen nation had the authority, okay, and the reach that this devil has been granted by the Most High. So with the power and authority that the Most High gave Esau, he's taking that power to try to replace the Most High, okay, which is foolish, to try to replace the one that gave you power, to try to replace the one, okay, that created you. Matter of fact, let's go here. I believe it's in Isaiah. Okay, then we'll get go into some things, man. All right, because Esau is likened unto Pharaoh, and we're going to go into why. Because you go into the history of ancient pharaohs, they believe themselves to be gods. Okay, so Pharaoh, Esau, is Pharaoh to the 10th power in his mind. And with the technology that he's been able to have, he really thinks, all right, that he is. Okay, so let's go. Let's go here. Oh, let's get this in Isaiah. Yep. Look at this Isaiah 40, 45, I want to say. All right. This is Isaiah 45 and 9. It says, woe to him that scribeth with his maker. And this is what the devil is doing right now as we speak. He's scribing with his maker. Okay. He's pushing his AI as if AI is his path. All right. To transcend to godhood. Okay. To where he can supplant the Most High. Okay. So he thinks through left hand means and technology that he's going to supplant the Most High. Okay. He said, let the potsherds scribe with the potsherds of the earth. Okay. Or let humans, they should scribe with the humans. You see, Esau, you fare well when you go to war and bully, these heathens. Okay. But now this devil, okay, he wants to change weight class. Okay. And thinks that he can deal with the Most High now. You see, it says, shall the clay say to him that fashioned it, what makest thou, or thou work, he have no hands. And this is what the devil is proclaiming with his technology, man. The devil talking about 3D printed meat as if meat ain't already invented. This man presents a mindset in the earth that the Most High needs a counselor, and he's the one to count. He's the one, okay, that's smart enough, that's wise enough that he can give the Most High counsel. Based on what he's been able to do and how he's been able to prosper on the left hand side, he's qualified to counsel the Most High now. Okay, and this is what this devil is doing with this new world order system. Okay, he wants to re-engineer existence. He wants to re-engineer people, the food. Okay, reality. He wants to re-engineer everything. DNA. Okay, he wants to control thoughts. Okay, he wants to tap into your neurological system. Okay, your DNA strands. You see, he wants to, like your boy say, he wants to hack human. Okay, and this is him saying, look, the Most High needs counsel. Okay, this is a very bold stance the devil is taking in these last days, and we know how this is going to end. Okay, we know for a fact, all right, how this is going to end with the devil, man. Okay, so let's go from there. Then we'll tap into a little history, and I got a video as well. I want to get into this morning, but let's go to the book of Romans chapter 9, and then we'll run it back to Exodus, Awaratazah. Okay, because when you go into the book of Romans chapter 9, which is a heavy book, heavy chapter, this is the book of Romans chapter 9. All right. And if you don't understand the story of Jacob and Esau, you don't understand the Bible. Okay, because the narrative of the Bible is centered around, okay, the prophecies of the Bible are centered around these two nations of people. Okay, the sons of God and the sons of the wicked. Okay, and the way that the Lord have them, being born of the same father and mother. Okay, with Esau being the elder, which, in the flesh he was entitled to the birthright, but in the spirit it always belonged to Jacob, the sons of God. Okay, and the Lord had that controversy play out back in Genesis, okay, for his will to play out in the earth, leading up to the second coming of Yahushua. Okay, and if you don't understand the narrative, if you don't understand the concept of the importance of Jacob and Esau when dealing with the Bible, then you're going to be completely lost. Okay, there's no way to understand prophecy. There's no there's no way to understand the times we're in without understanding the importance of the narratives of Jacob and Esau. All right, good and evil. Okay, so this is Romans 9 and 11. And if this was written, if salvation was for the other nations, why is the Apostle Paul breaking down, okay, the story of Jacob and Esau? Okay, why is this story of any importance? Because this is a letter, an epistle written to the church in Rome. Okay, Israelites in Rome. Okay, well, what can be considered the Greeks or the Gentiles. Okay, by the circumcision. So why is the Apostle Paul see the importance or the necessity to go into this history, man? Okay, because the Bible is centered around these two lineages. Okay, so when you go to Romans, and the brother can post that too, Hebrews 11 and 20. All right, if a brother want to post that, Hebrews 11 and 20. Okay, just to show that the significance of this story of Jacob and Esau. Now, Romans 9 and 11 said, for the children being not yet born, all right, this is Jacob and Esau, neither having done any good or evil, that the purpose of the Most High according to election might stand. And who was the elect? Israel. Okay, not of works, but of him that calleth. Okay, so when we see how it's playing out between, all right, Israel, all right, the Israelites and the Edomites, well, this is the Lord's purpose. This was his purpose the whole time, to have this feud between these two nations. Okay, with Israel being the elect, all right, and Esau being the reject. Okay, and this nigga know he's rejected. That's why he's going all out to try to establish his own blessing, because this nigga know he's rejected by the Most High. Okay, Romans 9:12. It was said unto her, the elder shall serve the younger. Okay, and who's the elder? Esau. He came out first. All right, and the end game was for him to serve the younger, and he will serve Jacob in this captivity. I mean, in this rulership that's to come. Okay, we had the devil in captivity before, but it was prophesied that he will break the yoke. All right, and he will come back into power. But this time, when Yahweh Shah wounds the head, okay, of the serpent, he's not coming back. Okay, he's going to go into captivity, and then he's going to be done away with. Okay, verse 13, as it was written, Jacob have I loved, but Esau have I hated. Okay, this is the people that rule the earth. All right, the Most High hates these people, and he's finna show their hatred, you know, because you'll look at it like, damn, the so-called white man, this nigga blessed, he got it. Everything been working in his favor. Okay, but the Lord established this man, okay, and gave him the fatness of the earth, okay, for the sake of prophecy, man, and the sake of the Lord's purpose to play out, because this will be our last captivity, and where the sons of God will be refined. You know, we had to be perfected through suffering, you see, and we had to see, you know, the importance of a righteous rulership. Okay, and Esau Edom was that example to show us the importance, okay, of ruling the earth in righteousness, man. Okay, because we had to serve a captivity in the wicked empire, man. You know, in the wicked empire, the poor get it the worst. Okay, so the Lord had us serving in this captivity, okay, the tail of this empire, okay, so we can really understand the importance of righteousness, man, the importance of righteous rulership. Okay, so before we, you know, will be joint heirs with Yahweh Shai, we will have to go through this Edomite captivity, man. Yahweh Shai was perfected in the Edomite captivity. Okay, and we're joint heirs. Okay, we're the sons of the Most High as well. Okay, of lesser status than Yahweh Shai. Okay, but Yahweh Shai said we will have to drink of that cup, you know, and part of that cup was serving in the Edomite captivity, man. Okay, the captivity of the wicked. But this man is hated, and the Lord finna show the earth that he hates this nigga, man. Okay, very soon. It says, what shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? The Most High forbid. You know, because people read the Bible and they're offended that the Lord created a nation to be the wicked, and then he hates them for being the wicked. That's what the Most High wanted to do. You see, the Most High, he's always been putting the play together from the beginning. Esau just a part of the play, but the end game is a righteous kingdom forever. See, when you don't understand the end game, you get offended at the process. Okay, you're offended at the process when you don't understand the end game. Okay, so we understand that the Lord has caused all these things to happen. You know, he created, you know, this timeline, all right, within existence for the sake of an eternal righteous kingdom ruled by Yahweh Shai and his sons. Okay, so you're offended at Esau's role in the movie, then that's on you. All right, the Lord didn't bring you into this to understand. Okay, and that's the thing. This is what the Lord wanted. And see, we trust that the Lord got it figured out. We're not trying to make sense of the moves the Most High making based on, all right, emotions, okay, and trying to, you know, make the Most High fit into our rationale, especially of a Western mindset, okay, which is completely backwards. You see, it said, "For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion." Okay, so it's all everything is to the will of the Lord for his good pleasure. He chose the people that he wanted to choose. Okay, he's going to show mercy on the remnant who he decides to show mercy on. Okay, and then when you keep reading, it says, "So then it is not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy." Man, everything is subjugated to the mercy of the Lord. Okay, everything. That's why we know that, you know, it's not of us. What can we boast in? Okay, that's why the Most High hated a proud look. Okay, because what do we have to be proud about? What can we be proud about? Okay, we're here strictly because of the Lord's good pleasure. He chose Israel just because he wanted to do it. He wasn't forced to do it. He wasn't in debt. you know, he didn't owe us anything. He did it because he wanted to do it, his good pleasure. He made us a special people based off his good pleasure. okay, so um, let's continue on. It says, "For the scripture said unto Pharaoh." All right, this is the point. It says, uh, read 16 says, "So then it is not him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture have said unto Pharaoh, even for this same purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth," man. Okay? So the Apostle Paul is referencing Esau likened unto Pharaoh. Okay, because this was the peak of the Roman Empire, Pax Romana. All right, this was during the time of Claudius and Nero in that era. All right, because everything after Augustus, okay, going all the way into the Flavian dynasty, they considered that the era of Pax Romana, the peace of Rome. All right, so Esau was exalted. He was in his peak. He was in his prime, as the Apostle Paul is writing this. Okay, so he was lifted up just like Pharaoh was lifted up. Okay, but he was lifted up for the Lord to show his power. Okay, so let's go back to the original story. Okay, in the book of Exodus, the 9th chapter. All right, so let's go here. I'm getting NLT. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 9. I'm going to start at 11. Okay, because what we're seeing, when you read Exodus, okay, so we start at 13. The Most High, all right, is getting ready to show. He's showing Pharaoh that he is. Okay, so what he does, all right, he uses Moses and Aaron, okay, to show his power unto Pharaoh. You see, and we come in the stead of Moses and Aaron today. The prophets, the priests, okay, that are showing the devil, all right, that he is, okay, because the Lord has us speaking, all right, this man's downfall into existence. Because as we speak these words, the devil, he's going with his move. He's doing exactly what the prophets are saying, because the prophets have the authority and the power of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah, as Moses and Aaron had that authority of Yahweh Bashim Al Shah. Okay, now let's go here. I started at 8. This is Exodus 9 and 8. It said, "Then the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, take handfuls of soot and brick and have Moses toss it in the air while Pharaoh watches." Okay, so the Lord wanted Pharaoh to see this. you see, it said the ashes will spread like fine dust over the whole land of Egypt, causing festering boils to break out on the people and animals throughout the land. So they took soot from a brick kiln and went and stood before Pharaoh. As Pharaoh watched, Moses threw the soot in the air, and boils broke out on people and animals alike. Even the magicians were unable to stand before Moses because the boils had broken out on them and all the Egyptians. Okay? So this was the Lord plaguing Egypt, which was a heavy, heavy satanic kingdom, man. That was heavy into the dark arts and the dark magics. And Pharaoh had this pride to where he thought he was a god. Okay? It said, but the Lord hardened Pharaoh's heart, and just as the Lord had predicted Moses, okay, Pharaoh refused to listen. So the Most High was hardening Pharaoh so he can break their pride and he can continue to show power. Okay, he was making a statement with Pharaoh. All right, just like he's doing with Esau. Esau is hardened. Okay, this is not a good idea what this nigga is doing. Okay, this is terrible from the foundation. Okay, you know, through and through, this is a terrible plan what this nigga is trying to do, but he's hard to do it. He got to go through with it. You know, Exodus 9 and 13. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Get up early in the morning and stand before Pharaoh. Tell him this is what the Lord Yahweh, the power of the Hebrew, says. Let my people go so they can worship me. If you don't, I will send more plagues on you and your officials and your people. Then on and it says on you and your officials and your people. Then you will know that there is no one like me in all the earth." The Lord wants to make a statement with Pharaoh. Okay, so he kept his mind hardened, you know, to where he would be stubborn. Okay, and it gave the Most High, okay, what the opportunity to show more power, not only Pharaoh but his official and his people. So the common man, from Pharaoh to the common man, they suffered. Okay, it says if you are not, it says if you don't, I will send more plagues on you and your officials and your people. Then you will know there was no one like me in all the earth, man. Okay, and the Lord is finna do this on a much larger scale this time with Esau, man, to show the earth that there's no one like him. Okay, Exodus 9 and 15. But now it says, but now I could have lifted my hand and struck you and your people with a plague to wipe you off the face of the earth. So the Most High, like, look, I could, you light work, man. Okay, could snap my fingers and you out of there. The Thanos snap, you know. I could have Solomon Gomorrah your ass. Okay, and everything would just been powder. So the Most High, like, look, man, I could have been got you out of there. Okay, don't think that you still in the game because you got this resilience, and that's what Esau think. He's just this resilient, innovative, superior nigga in the earth, man. Nah, man. Okay, the Lord preserving your ass, man, for this grand finale. All right, he want to show you something and the world something. Okay, these people that you got believing, all these people that's believing that Esau, okay, this great nigga in the earth, this magnificent, okay, God like nigga in the earth, man. The Most High letting this nigga keep pumping himself up so he can show that power, man. Verse 16, but I have spared you for a purpose to show you my power and to spread my fame throughout the earth. Okay, so this is why Esau was raised up. Okay, Esau and all his cheerleaders, everybody think this nigga got it. Okay, his whole fan base, the Lord got this nigga built up just to show that he is, man. Okay, so the Lord can show his power, man, to show you that there's a major difference. He wants everybody in awe with this nigga, man. Okay, he wants everybody to be fearful of this nigga, man. Okay, so he can show that there's a major difference between because Esau represents the heathen at their strongest point. There's no heathen that ever reached this level. Okay, so the Most High finna show, no matter what level you think you at, it's still a big difference. Okay, that's what's finna be shown in the earth. Okay, so let's see. Let's go here. I want to get this in the chat, and then we'll segue to the video. Let's say this one. Yep. So you go here. So I asked you, say, did the ancient pharaohs see themselves as God? Did the Most High harden Pharaoh's mind to break his pride? You know. So it's a great question. These go right to the crossroads of history, religion, and theology. Did the ancient pharaohs see themselves as gods? Yes, but mostly with nuance. It says in ancient Egypt, pharaohs were understood as divine or semi-divine figures. The pharaoh was believed to be the incarnation of Horus, all right, a god while alive. And it says after death, he became Osiris, god of the afterlife. He was a mediator between the gods and the people, responsible for maintaining Ma'at, which is a cosmic order. So Pharaoh wasn't just a king with political power; he ruled with divine authority. Whether every Pharaoh personally uh, felt like a god is impossible to know, but the system absolutely treated him as one. Worship, temples, and rituals reinforced this constantly. Okay, and you see this system today that they treat Esau like a god. As people worship his technology, people worship democracy. Okay, his philosophies. You see, they worship his money system. You know, they worship the ability to self worship, and you see they worship this nigga, man. Okay, so this system treats Esau like a god. That's why he's so hyped up. Okay, he said from a biblical perspective, this makes Pharaoh's resistance to the Most High especially significant. He wasn't just defying Moses, he was challenging a rival claim to ultimate authority. Okay, this is what Esau was doing right before our eyes, man. Okay, and our people, their attention is on us teaching the Bible, but this nigga is claiming he's claiming ultimate authority over the Most High. Okay, he said, did the Most High harden Pharaoh's mind or heart to break his pride? Now, it says in Exodus we see both statements. Pharaoh hardened his own heart. All right, the Most High hardened Pharaoh's heart. Now, when you go to here, ultimately the Most High that did. All right, it says Pharaoh first hardened his own heart repeatedly out of pride, power, and refusal to submit, and it was the Most High hardened his heart, putting the Spirit on him to harden it, man. Okay, after continued rejection, the Most High hardens Pharaoh by confirming him, all right, in the path he has chosen. Okay, and Esau, he's being confirmed in the path that he's chosen, man. Esau can't break course. He gotta go through with it. He gotta go through with this rebellion, man. Okay, so the Most High doesn't what let me see. I want a certain part. I think this the part said this serves several purposes in biblical narrative: to expose the limits of human power, to show that no ruler, even one called a God, can stand against the Most High, to make the Most High's power unmistakable, not just to Israel, but to Egypt and surrounding nations. Okay? To expose the limits of human power because this nigga acts like he has no limit. Esau got limits, man. People talk like this man just has no limit. He's limited as hell. Okay, and Esau be projecting himself like he's way more than what he is. Okay, he loves to project himself like he's doing way more than what he's capable of doing. He can do a lot. He has the Lord giving this man power on the left hand side to where he can do some things. Okay, but this devil, he projects himself like he's unlimited, man. So the Most High finna show how limited Esau is, man. Okay, even with these data centers, man, he's limited with the resources that's needed to run these data centers, man. He's catching hell getting resources and power to do that. Because if it was possible, it would have been done. Okay, so this devil, he's running into limitations, trying to be the Most High. Okay, it's the Most High showing him on a subtle way that he's limited. Okay, but when he sends Yahushua, that's going to show him really how limited he is. Okay, it says to show that no ruler, even one called a power, can stand against the Most High, to make the Most High's power unmistakable, not just to Israel, but to Egypt and surrounding nations. Okay, it's going to be a global example, man. Okay, it's going to be a global example made. And Esau, he's going to be at the forefront of that example. Okay, so it said big picture said Pharaoh represents human pride raised to divine status. The Exodus story isn't only about Egypt, it's about what happens when power refuses humility, man. Okay, and pride goes before a great fall, man. And we're getting ready to see the greatest fall ever. Okay, with this nigga, man. All right, so let's go here. I want to play this clip. Pretty informative, you know. This guy here, David Icke, pretty informative. He be going in. So So it's a long interview. I got like it's like a maybe like a 12, 13 minute, stint of it I want to go through. But I gotta watch the rest of it. I'm pretty sure some more info, so I have to Amaratazai comb through the rest of this one and see what else is on here. But these, this 12-minute, 13-minute little stint is pretty interesting. So let's play it. And he's gonna go into some things that we're seeing, okay, with these devils and what they got going on, man. Okay.
And so up to this point, they've had to control perception by controlling information, the narrative, and
and they worked in lockstep with these World Health Organization schleps, and pushing out this narrative, and all across, whether it was CNBC or CNN or any of it, they worked in lockstep to control that information. And our channel, I think you were banned, we were banned across YouTube for even reading Pfizer's own documents on the air. They said it was medical misinformation, and they took us off the air. So they were really controlling everything from Google, YouTube to CNN, all of it, as part of this information war.
And it shows how powerful control of perception is. It's everything. You control people through that. And as we go along, maybe we could get into the structure through which they do it, because again, the structure is relatively simple, but appears to be impossible if you see it only at the level of complexity. And how
please take me through that mechanism, because I think maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think what you're saying is up to now it's been the control of information. But we're moving beyond that into this AI fusing. Is that where we're going next?
This is where I was just going with this. So up to this point, as you say, it's information control. Where they want to go to complete the job, really, of complete perceptual control, is to connect humans to artificial intelligence via what people like the Google executive Ray Kurzweil calls the cloud. And from that, human perception will no longer come from human thought and human emotional response. It will come direct. So no more.
So basically, the devil, he wants to merge you with machines, okay, with his technology, so he can cut off, being inspired from the Most High, okay, to where he is the only one that can send thoughts to your mind. Okay, that's why he wants you to merge. In order for him to play, okay, and pretend to be the Most High, well, he needs people to merge with this technology, which links you to this global, all right, digital infrastructure, okay, with AI, okay, surveillance, okay. He's in, your bloodstream, the nanotechnology, okay. He's able to, be in your neurological system. Okay. So this is the way the devil wants to play the Most High, through this technology. That's why he needs people to merge. Okay. He doesn't want anybody being inspired with creativity or thoughts from the Most High. That's why he's saying, look, AI is the way. AI, that's the answer. Okay. AI can do everything that the Most High can do. AI can be everywhere at the same time. AI can answer any question. Okay. AI can be your creativity. Okay. This is what he's conditioning, okay, people, all right, to trust, AI on a whole nother level. Trust that AI can replace the Most High. He's not directly saying it, okay, but this is what he's conditioning people to do, is trust AI above the Most High. Trust him and his AI and his technology, man. Okay, so let's play this.
or even do you have to control information then? You have to just deliver to people the thoughts you want them to have. And what we've had on one side is the hard sell of this from people like Klaus Schwab when he was at the World Economic Forum, Bill Gates, Ray Kurzweil, many others, where they're selling us that when we fuse with artificial intelligence, and people like Ray Kurzweil, that's his book up there, the yellow book. He claims to be the world expert on artificial intelligence and where it's going. He's talking, and he did this some years ago now, about 2030 being the target year for when this big transformation of AI human fusion starts to happen big time. It's already happening, in fact. So you've got the hard sell, and what the hard sell says is, if we fuse with artificial intelligence, we'll be gods, we'll be super men and super women. Now, there are and have all along been a group of people, a large group of people actually, who, not the majority, but a large group of people that were saying, hold on a minute, I'm not happy with this. I don't like the sound of that. And I'm pushing back on that. And so the alternative media for a long time was saying, this transhumanism, they want ultimate control of us through transhumanism and AI and all that stuff. And then along comes Elon Musk, you see. And I've been tracking Elon Musk for years and years, long before he bought Twitter, now X, because he was ticking the boxes of this agenda for humanity that I've been uncovering for a long time. So I was very interested in him. And so when he was allowed to buy Twitter X, I knew it was a scam. The question was, what form of scam does it take? Well, it didn't take long to find that out on many levels. First of all, Elon Musk positioned himself, because this global cult plays the long game, as an AI skeptic. AI could be the end of humanity. Oh, I'm very worried. And
right. And for people that don't remember that, he was, when we were hearing about ChatGPT and he hadn't yet rolled out Grok, he was out there in speeches and posts warning all of us about how scary and how it's going to run away.
Is Zoom or Riverside better for podcasting? Most people don't know, but I got you. Riverside is your one-stop shop for creating your podcast.
And we
and just to go into what he's been saying thus far, all right, because they tried to sell, the merging with machinery through, Klaus Schwab, all right, this old, nigga with this Polish accent, this Swedish accent. You don't know what this nigga's saying. So what did they do? All right, they rebranded it. And what these doubles do, they present things and kind of get a feel for how the people react. And then they draw back, and then they come back out with the same idea rebranded. Okay, so now they went at it through Elon Musk. Okay, so people was, there was kickback with this whole transhumanism thing from the World Economic Forum perspective. So they plant these certain characters. All right, they make these people likable, like a Elon Musk. Okay, so they get a character like Elon Musk who's supposed to just be this, this little tech genius, little nerdy billionaire. Okay, that just rose, through capitalism. He just started these companies just off his pure genius, and he started these companies, and now he's this billionaire, and he's for the people, and he's against AI. He's warning on AI. Okay, just for a psyop on the minds of the masses to soften people up, okay, to be comfortable with AI, okay. Now look how many people use Grok, okay. A lot of people that was against AI were under this character of Elon Musk. A lot of people, you know, became comfortable with AI, okay, and all this technology, all, you know, these so-called, you know, private companies, you know, that's another thing Esau does too. He presents this one man because people think of Elon and they think that he's just this nigga that's able to go invent a rocket, you know, in the morning, then in the afternoon, after lunch, you know, he's creating a Tesla car, you know, and then after that, before he goes to sleep, he just creating this robot, you know, like he's just in the lab creating, like he's just this, you know, this ultimate genius. Like he's just doing all this himself. You know, you think of SpaceX, you think of Tesla, you think of the robots, you think of the Starlink, the satellite. You think this is just one super brilliant Edomite, okay, that just in the lab with his own hands creating all these things. Nah, man, he's just a logo, the face. This is a whole industry behind SpaceX and its military technology. So this is billions and trillions of dollars of R&D, research and development, okay, which is mostly taxpayer money. The taxes pay for SpaceX. The taxes make Tesla possible, Starlink possible. It's the taxes, okay, because these billionaires, they don't pay for a lot of things out of their own pocket. That's why they constantly getting richer, not only because they got all this profit coming in, they don't pay for nothing, okay. The masses pay for the majority of their projects and ventures, man. Okay, these coups that America does on these different nations, that's taxpayer money. They're sponsoring it. Okay, but going back to the point, you know, they create these characters and build these characters up to make these characters likable. And then they make it seem like these characters are against, you know, the deep state and the system. You know, they allow these certain characters to expose the deep state to a degree, expose certain truth just to get credibility, but then they push the same agenda, okay? They push the same agenda that they wanted from the beginning. The same thing that they were trying to push with Klaus Schwab, they're pushing it through Elon and Donald Trump. Okay, the same ideas that are rejected, okay, by these people, they get acceptance from these group of characters, man. Okay, it's all a psyop, and it's all military technology, man. Okay, none of this technology is private owned by these mascots. Okay, Mark Zuckerberg, mascot. Okay, Jeff Bezos, he's a mascot. Okay, Elon Musk, a mascot. Sam Altman, a mascot. Okay, these are not the brains behind the operations of all this tech. They're just the mascot characters for you to discuss. Okay, either hate or love. Okay, so let's play this some more.
We'll lose to it, and we need to be very cautious about it. He was saying that in the early days of, I mean, before the previous election, he was saying that quite regularly.
That was positioning himself, because you've only got to look at what's happened since to see that that's the case. So he then was facing criticism from many in the alternative media. That, you know, this guy's pushing transhumanism or whatever, and he's not our friend. And then he bought Twitter X, or was allowed to buy it, because the so-called deep state owned it before, quite demonstrably. And Musk, when he bought it, put out these Twitter files saying, look, here's the proof that the deep state owned Twitter before I bought it. Yeah, okay, so the deep state had control, we all know that, you and me and many others, of what was posted and not posted on Twitter, right? Yeah, absolutely. So why did they sell it to you then? Why did they sell it to you as self-proclaimed, and it is self-proclaimed, not true, free speech absolutist because it was a scam. And what I saw was almost from the moment he bought Twitter, called it X, and started letting people back, the criticism of Musk from so much of the alternative media that criticized him before just disappeared, because now he's one of us. And he's able to get away with loads and loads of things that he wouldn't have done without owning Twitter X. And then you saw him start to move into bed, basically, with Trump after Trump's alleged assassination attempt. Within an hour, he was supporting Trump, and all the other kind of AI oligarchs came in. And what you have now is two things. You've got Trump as the president. And as I said in his election campaign, this guy is going to tell you what you want to hear. When he gets in, he's going to do things that you didn't think he was going to do, and that he said he wouldn't do. But crucially, he is going to facilitate the mad rush to this AI human fusion and the AI digital control of society. And it took 2 days after his inauguration the second time to wheel into the Oval Office Larry Ellison, Sam Altman, and some other guy to announce this up to $500 billion AI project. They called it Stargate, with data centers, etc., which are essential to this AI control system. And since he's gone on and on and on, pushing this whole AI agenda. And what you've got around Trump is this: they've circled the wagons around him. There's Musk, there's Peter Thiel of Palantir, who's getting contracts not just from Trump, but from other countries around the world to advance this AI control system and surveillance system. You've got Mark Andreessen, you've got David Sachs, who Trump made his AI crypto czar, and you've got all these other people that are around him, these billionaires that are pushing this agenda. So
just as, the spearhead brother saying, Trump, he won you people's, affection and trust. And as soon as he got to the White House, man, okay, he opened the back door and let all the oligarchs in. Okay. He started to pave a way for a technocracy, man. Because he done nothing, okay, for you American people, especially the working class, man. Okay. So Trump is nothing but, all right, the bridge from democracy to technocracy, man. Okay, and his role is to keep you people distracted. That's why he has all these random conflicts and wars. And so, like, even going to kidnap Maduro, like, what did that do? The same regime is in place. Okay, America's not benefiting off Venezuelan oil right now today. So what was the point of that? It was a distraction. Okay, that's all Trump is about. Then he be talking about Greenland for 2 weeks, and then now, he's back on Iran, and they supposed to have a meeting in Turkey. It's all a distraction. Okay, he's a distraction, and he's doing everything needed to roll out this technocracy, man. Okay, he never had any intentions of making America great again. Okay, even that's a satanic mantra. Okay, he never cared about the working class people. Okay, he never cared about the economy. It was all about him being a bridge, okay, from democracy to technocracy, man. Okay, and he's surrounded by nothing but these men who are the mascots for all this AI infrastructure, okay, which is needed to run this new world order, man. Okay, so let's play some more.
What you've got is Trump basically he's been brought in to be a wrecking ball to the system that we've had up to this point in my lifetime. And people are saying, who support Trump, oh yeah, he's destroying the deep state, he's destroying the globalist system. Well, no, he's not. You see, there's a technique called creative destruction. And what that is you're starting here at A and you want to go to Z, and you're going in stages towards your ultimate goal, which is AI human fusion and total AI digital control. And on the journey to that, creative destruction is when a phase has served you, served your interest, but you need to go to the next phase. Then creative destruction destroys the previous phase, the previous status quo. So if you look over the 20th century to now, the First World War destroyed the status quo. And the world was not the same in 1918 as it was in 1914. You then had not just the Great Depression in America, but a Great Depression all around the world. And my father was caught in that. And that basically was dismantling the economic system of that time. And then you had the Second World War. That's another creative destruction, which takes it even further on. So the world at the end of the Second World War was absolutely nothing like it was at the start of the First World War. And you had the Bretton Woods Agreement, you had the introduction of the IMF, the World Bank, and the United Nations, and a massive move to the centralization of global power. And from the end of the Second World War, and I was born in 1952, only 7 years after that, to pretty much recently, that system has been the one that's been the system of the world in all its facets and forms.
So this current system, which was established after the Second World War, when America, the American dollar became the world reserve currency. Okay. It started off as being pegged to gold, and then it was taking all the gold standard and pegged to oil. Okay. The petrodollar. So that system has been the global system that has been running the world. That's why America has so much influence in these other nations and these other governments, because they control so much of the economy. All right. This is the reason why America has been flourishing, okay, as a nation, because it was made the center of the global economy. Things had to go through them, and there was a great demand for the American dollar. But what we're seeing now, like he said, Trump is a wrecking ball to their old system, because this new system is a new currency, okay, and a more centralized government, okay, where America is not the superpower, okay. So what we're seeing with Trump is a dismantling of the old so they can establish something new, okay, because when Esau is done, with something old, he dismantles it, okay. You see, Christianity, even look at Christianity. Christianity did what it's supposed to do. People are confused. Okay. Now you got Christians and atheists arguing about the Bible, trying to figure out, well, so what did Noah, the atheists asking questions about Noah, the Christians don't know, because Christianity did its job. It has caused mass confusion. Either you're confused or you completely don't believe the Bible. Okay, so Christianity has done its job. So that's why Christianity is not pushed anymore. Okay, it's done its job. You see, the nigger woman, the ways that she was used as a weapon to destroy, okay, the tribes, especially the Southern Kingdom. Okay, well, now she's done her job and she's being discarded. Okay, so what we're seeing with this system, even with these rappers, you see now the new hustle is being a podcaster. okay, because rap had done what it was supposed to do. It destroyed the minds, okay, and enchanted, Jake. So now Esau is on to something else, okay. So this old economy, which put all these nations in debt to the central bankers, okay, based off the U.S. dollar hegemony, okay, what has done that. So now these nations are all for a new system because the American economy has, molded these nations into what the elites want, okay. As America is known as what, the hammer of the earth. Now with a hammer you can destroy, and also you can what, you can mold, okay. So America, through its military and its economy, was used to mold the nations, okay, into a new world order. So now these nations are prepped to go digital, okay. So now the American dollar is no longer needed. It's done did what it's supposed to do. So now we're seeing Trump as this wrecking ball that's coming through and just destroying everything. He's destroying democracy, okay. That's why he has these ICE agents unaliving, okay, people unjustly, okay, to show you that look, your constitution is done, okay. They're letting inflation run away to show you that what, the dollar is done, okay. They're done with that system. So we're in the stage of demolition, okay, and it's only going to get worse. The job market is only going to get worse, okay. So let's play this some more.
What Trump is doing now, because the next stage is move rapidly into AI, human digital control, has to go. Because if it doesn't, like all status quos, if the status quo stays and doesn't move, you can't replace it with anything. So you've got to demolish it. And this is creative destruction. And so that's what Trump's been put in there to do, to demolish the system, the current system in all its forms again, so it can be replaced by this next phase. And around him are the architects of the next phase, which are the AI billionaire oligarchs. And I said, two things, and one was all that. But the other second thing in relation to Musk buying Twitter X is look at what it's become. I don't follow Elon Musk, but my X feed it's like machine gun fire.
There's a contract most retail traders have never heard of. It's called XSP. It's not a stock.
I mean, the under Musk's name are just incessant, and two things are the basis of them. One, dividing and ruling the population by winding one part of the population up constantly, support for Trump. And the other one is that X has now become, could be the end of humanity, X has now become a propaganda, incessant propaganda arm for pushing the AI system. And he's pushing it all the time. He does it through Grok and all that stuff. But what he's doing is pushing this system. Because what he says, this is the soft sell as opposed to the hard sell. What Musk said was, yeah, it could be the end of humanity, but, it's inevitable. That's a massive mind control psyop, that. Because once you're convinced that something is inevitable, you stop trying to stop it and you start trying to mitigate its impact. So you're already weakening your response because you think it's inevitable. And so he's saying, because it's inevitable that AI will become more intelligent than humans, if we don't fuse humans with artificial intelligence, then humans will die out. And so you've got the hard sell outcome. human AI fusion. You got the soft cell outcome, human AI fusion. They're taking you to the same point using different rhetoric and different words.
And that's all this devil is doing. Okay. So as long as he can get you to latch on to any one of these rhetorics, whether it's the left, the right, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, Trump, whatever he can get you to latch to, he makes sure he might go about it a longer way, but it's still going to the same end game, and that's fusing people with machinery. That's the only way he can play the Most High, is if people merge with this technology. That's the only way that he can present himself and try to sit in the seat of the Most High, is that people have to merge with this technology. So he's going through all this. He's pushing all these psyops and giving you all these characters and giving you all these, timelines and narratives. Okay. Just to get you to the same point. Okay. And he's saying, look, it's inevitable. AI going to replace humans unless we can start merging with the AI instead of fighting against it. Okay. And that's the soft cell. Okay. So, let's go there. I want to go here to I got some on the chat I want to get, but let's get this in 2 Thessalonians. So you go here to the book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, read verse 3 and 4. I want to get something pulled up on the chat. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3. It said, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, so we fell away as a people that had to play out. Okay, and we fell away, all right, to be awakened in this latter time, right before Yahweh Shah will return. And in the midst of that, Esau will be ruling, and he will be revealed. He will be revealed to be the son of perdition, the son of destruction. All right, the man of sin is him. He wants to create an empire of sin. Okay, with his technology, he wants to, create an ongoing empire of sin in complete defiance to the Most High. Okay, it says, who opposed and exalted himself above all that is called the Most High, or that is worshipped, so that he, as the Most High, sitting in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. And this is what he wants to do through this technology, man. Okay, he wants to sit in the seat of authority that's reserved for the Most High. Okay, to where he can control your thoughts, your spirits. He wants to control all outcomes. Okay, he wants to be able to predict everything. That's why he has AI. That's why he doesn't mind giving people all this access to this technology, because it's training his AI. Okay, and I say he believes that through this AI that he's tapped into Godhood, man. Okay, so let's go here. I got this pulled up. When you go into let me see. So I asked it in the chat. I said, it's Thessalonians chapter 2 and 4. What does it mean to sit in the seat of the Most High? It said, good question. This verse is dense and loaded. It says 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4 says, paraphrase, that the man of lawlessness opposes the Most High and exalts himself above every so-called power, so that he takes his seat in the temple of the Most High, proclaiming himself to be the Most High. It said, what does sit in the seat of the Most High mean? Paul isn't talking about furniture. He's using symbolic language of authority and worship and identity. At its core, it means usurping the Most High's place. Here are the main ways this has been understood. Claiming the Most High's authority. To sit in someone's seat in biblical language means to occupy their role or authority. So this figure is claiming divine authority, acting as if he is the ultimate ruler, judge, or object of obedience, demanding allegiance that belongs to the Most High on, and that's what he's doing through this technology, man. Okay, this echoes Isaiah 14, which is speaking of Esau, Lucifer. Okay, it says in Ezekiel 28, all right, was the king of Tyre, which is symbolic for Esau in this time. It said, "Were prideful rulers, all right, try to exalt themselves to the Most High's position." It said, receiving worship that belongs to the Most High. In Scripture, the Most High's seat or throne represents his right to worship. So this act implies accepting or demanding worship, presenting himself as divine, blurring or erasing the line between the Most High and man. That's why Paul emphasized and proclaiming himself to be the Most High. It says temple of the Most High, literal or symbolic. All right, now it says spiritual. It says symbolic or spiritual view. In the New Testament, the Most High's temple is often his people or the church, which are Israelites. So this would mean infiltrating the Most High's people and taking spiritual control from within. And this is why he wants his technology to hack you. You see, he wants to do away with the prophets and make it to where it can never be another uprising or awakening again. Okay, so he wants to put his technology inside you. Okay, because this awakening comes from on high. The spirit came down from the heavens upon his men, and we began to stand on our feet. You see, and Esau, he doesn't have anything to combat that. So he's trying to do that through this technology. He wants to do away with the awakening, all right, that has happened, okay? And he wants to set it up to where this can never happen again, okay? Because he wants to put himself in the minds of everyone. Okay, he wants to take a seat in our conscience, man, with this technology. Okay, that's him sitting in the temple. You see, he wants to sit in the minds of the elect. Because that's where the Most High dwells, in our minds, the temple. Okay, now is what? The people, the church. Okay, the elect of Israel. You see, so he wants to do away with as many Israelites as he can. Okay, and going forward, he wants to be able to put technology in everyone. That way that's why, because he can't tell who's an Israelite by face value. Okay, so he wants to put his C-hip in everybody. That way he covers everything. You see, Esau think he got this thing covered, man. Okay, but just going into it, this is a terrible idea. Okay, it says, so this would mean infiltrating the Most High's people and taking spiritual control from within, teaching false doctrine while claiming divine authority. Okay, he said, either way, the point is the same. He positioned himself where only the Most High belongs. All right, it says the deeper spiritual theme. This verse is really about ultimate rebellion, humanity trying to define truth, morality, and salvation apart from the Most High. Power without submission, religion without the Most High at the center. In short, to sit in the seat of the Most High means to replace the Most High as the supreme authority in worship, truth, and allegiance, man. Okay, that's why he's going to make this technology mandatory. Okay, and there's people, all right, pledging allegiance to him as the supreme. Okay, there's people pledging, okay, and submitting to his authority, to his complete authority above the authority of the Most High. Okay, that's why for you Israelites, hey, you take that C-hill, that's the ultimate treachery, man. There ain't no coming back from that. Okay, the fact that you submitted to that gesture, okay, hey, because you're supposed to scream out like that woman that will be trying to be taken. You're supposed to scream out, man. Okay, and this is what we're doing now. We see this nigga approaching and we're screaming out, man. You know, and we're saying who it belongs to, man. Hey, we're betrothed to Yahweh Bashim al-Shah, man. Okay, it said if we translate sitting in the seat in the Most High into a world shaped by global tech and digital infrastructure, it wouldn't look like a guy on a throne in a stone temple. It would look like control over truth, allegiance, and identity at scale. Here are the most common ways theologians and scholars map this idea onto modern systems without getting sci-fi or conspiritual. It says control of truth. It says epi-systemic authority. In the Bible, the Most High isn't just worship. He's the source of truth. Today, sitting in the seat of the Most High could look like defining what is true, false, or permitted through algorithms, suppressing or amplifying voices globally, rewriting history or morality in real time. Okay, so with his AI, he's able to suppress certain talking points, and he's able to amplify certain talking points. Okay, which create an echo chamber of falsehood and the suppression of truth. Okay, it says if a system or leader using a system can say this is reality and anything else will not be seen, heard, or allowed, is functionally occupying a divine role. Okay, and he wants this AI system to play a divine role. Okay, if it doesn't come from his AI, he wants to get to the point to where if it's not solidified by AI, it's not true. Okay, it says centralized allegiance and dependence. The Most High's throne is about ultimate loyalty. Digital infrastructure now mediates money, digital currency, payment rails. They should not buy or sell lest they have the mark. Okay, communication, platforms and access, identity, digital IDs, and biometric systems. A future scenario that echoes Thessalonians. Participation in society requires compliance with a central system. Okay, participation in society requires compliance with a centralized system. Okay, and if you dissent or decline what is exclusion economically, you cannot buy, sell, help he have the mark. Okay, that's the ultimate compliance with this new system that the devil is bringing out is the mark, the MOTB. Okay, it says allegiance becomes enforced, not chosen. He calls it all. Calls it means to mandate. Okay, it says a temple made of networks, not stone. In the New Testament, the Most High dwelling is in the building. It's where authority and presence are recognized. In modern terms, the temple could be global platform shaping consciousness, systems people trust more than the Most High, conscience or community, a digital space where values are formed and reinforced. So taking a seat in the temple could mean embedding ultimate authority inside the systems people live inside every day and merging you with, all right, this technology, man. Okay, it says self-deification through technology. Notice Paul said this figure proclaims himself to be the Most High. In modern language, okay, that might sound like we can fix humanity. We will overcome death. We decide what is good. We are inevitable. Tech makes those claims feel plausible, not by saying I am God, but by acting like no higher authority is needed. Okay? And that's what these devils are pushing, as if the Most High is not needed. They got it from here. Okay? Esau is moving like they got it from here, man. Okay? So, yeah, this devil got a tall task, man. Okay? And he have to remember he's hardened to try to pull this off. Okay? So let's go. Matter of fact, let's play this. This is your brother Kazak Bun Yahweh. This is Job 14:5. It says, seeing his days are determined, and the number of his months are with thee. Thou has appointed his bounds that he cannot pass, man. You know, so this devil, his rulership was determined before it started. You know, so the only thing this devil is doing is fulfilling, you know, his last moments of his rulership by rebelling and attempting to, all right, replace the Most High through technology, man. Okay, so he's in the last phase of rulership. Okay, and the Most High is going to uproot this system and implant a righteous system. Okay, the Most High, he's going to create destruction to uproot this wicked system and implant a righteous system, man. Okay, so this devil, he's at his bounds. Okay, so Lord will, you brothers, You know, and you sisters edified once again. We give all praise and glory unto Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai by Hashem, Makakadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS. Rule well, teach well, being great examples towards your brothers. And peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful Shalom.